Chapter 8, Hilchos Tshuva, Halacha 2. Ha'olam habo, the world to come. Elo guf ugvio. There's no body, there's no form. Elo nefoshos hatzadikim levod. Only the souls of the tzadikim. Only that. Below guf kimalache hasharis. Without a physical body, similar to angels. Bovein bo gavios. And since there's no physicality, there's no body, physical body. There's no eating, there's no drinking. All the various amenities which the physicality of a person needs don't exist in the world to come. And whatever the physical bodies are subject to, over there, the person is not subject to that, because that's all dependent upon being of a physical makeup. In this world, the physical yeshiva, amida, sitting, standing, shina, sleeping, umiso, death, otse vuschok, being in a state of depression, melancholy, or joyful, chiyotzaben. It doesn't exist there. That has all relevance to our physical condition. The original Chachomim had explained to us, Olam haba, the world to come, ein bo lo achila v'lo shtio, there's no eating, there's no drinking, v'lo tash shamito, there's no cohabitation, no procreation. El tzadikim yoshvim v'tzoseim, the tzadikim, they sit there with their crowns, b'rashein v'nenim nizev hashchina. They're wearing their crowns, and they bask in the divine presence, the radiance of the divine presence. Harein is bar loch, so it's clear, definitely from the Gemara. Shein sham guf, there's no body there. If there's no eating, drink, that means there's nothing to sustain. Eating and drinking is to sustain the physicality of a person. So although they use a term that tzadikim, they sit there, so it seems they are sitting. It only means they exist there. Below Omel, below Yigia. The tzaddikim will merit a share in the world to come. They're there with any level of toil, or with any level of wariness or initiative. What does it mean that crowns are on their heads? Das shiodim. They have an understanding, and they understand with absolute clarity. Meaning, for a person to appreciate why he's where he's at, that he's a beneficiary of all his life's investments. Torah sheloen, mean the levels of accomplishments we accomplish in the physical world. Now that we're beneficiaries of that, understanding that there was nothing in vain, everything had value. Shenema shloma ba'itra loimo. The crown which he was coronated through his mother, mean it's an endowment. It's a level of realization that you come to. That's it. Your saber shame. The skull that represents the brain, the understanding. That Torah means that special level of distinction is understood and appreciated due to our past existence, which is in the physical world. The simchas olam al rosham. The ultimate joy rests upon their heads. When we speak about joy, when a person's joy has nothing to do necessarily with the mind, it's the emotion, it's the whole totality of the person. Understanding and knowing that everything we have is due to our choices that we made in our physical life. What does it mean? They benefit from the radiance of the Shechina. They're able to know and they grasp and understand the truthfulness of God, which is impossible to know if you're within the physical, confined to the physical existence of a body. Meaning, I'll give you an example. A person who sees one of the seven wonders of existence. And you see it with your eyes and you're fully functional and you have an understanding and you read about it. And now finally you see it in real time. What does it do to you? Because you're able to grasp and understand what you're seeing, you feel exhilarated. You feel a level of joy because if you come upon something so unique, there's nothing comparable in physical existence to the seven wonders. Identically, it same means God gives you the ability to understand exactly who he is within the context of your capacity. Coming upon that reality, being able to understand and coming upon truth on an absolute level within the person's own limitation as a spiritual being, that's the ultimate level of joy. Lahavdil, a person's a true intellect, and you come upon a principle which is truth, and you've come upon that. What does it do to the person? The person feels it was worthwhile living just to come upon this truth. Lahavdil, coming upon the truthfulness of God, allowing you to come upon that due to your value and your input within yourself during your lifetime, that you spiritualized your soul to this degree, that allows you to grasp that, and that grasping and understanding that is the ultimate level of joy. That's the joy that's attributed to the head. That's the crown you coronated. Okay? So why can't we relate to that in this world? Conceptually to relate to it, but to really, as we sense things with our senses, it's not possible. Because that, you have to be a total spiritual being. And being confined and locked into a physical body, those spiritual senses do not operate, do not function. Now, called Nefesh Amura Binyan Zeh, we speak of the Nefesh. The Guf is the body. The Via means the physical form of the person. Nefesh means the life source. So he says, whenever it says Nefesh within this context, Eino HaNeshama Tzricha L'Guf. That's not the soul which is needed for life in the body. Soul departs, a person is no longer alive. We speak of Nefesh, we're not speaking about that. Elo Tzuras HaNefesh, we speak about the profile of the Nefesh, Hadas, Siga Me'aborei, Fi Kocha. It's the ability to grasp of whatever is within your capacity of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Fi Kocha, within its capacity, the Siga Herdeos and Nefrodos, Ushar Hamasim, to come upon certain truths which are abstract, which are unrelated to physicality. V'yatzura should be Arnu Inyona Perek Revi Milchus Yisodei HaTorah. V'yinikras Nefesh Binyan Zeh. Within this context, that's called Nefesh. Nefesh means the ability within the spiritual realm to come upon certain truths. It's unrelated to the neshama. Neshama is the dimension of the person. Nefesh is the ability to come upon understandings of what is in the world to come. Chaim elu lefishein imo moves. The life which we're speaking about, it's unrelated to death. Shein hamoves elo memoros haguf. Death is something which is only one of the events which is experienced by the physicality of a person. Veinsham guf, and there in the world to come, there's no physicality. So the concept of death has no relevance. So if a person comes there, and therefore what's it called? It's called Tzur HaChaim. It's the bond of life. Person merits assurance to the world to come, since it's not a location of death. Now you're within the bond of life. Shenemar, as Abigail had said regarding David HaMelech, V'hois nefesh Adoni, the nefesh of my master, Tzur b'Tzur HaChaim, will be bound up in the bond of life. This is the ultimate level of reward, and there's nothing which surpasses this level of reward. And there's nothing which is good on this absolute level more than this. And it's something which all the prophets, as much as they prophesied, and there's nothing closer to that in the physical world, where God connects with the prophet through a soul in this world, but that was only a semblance of that, and therefore that they desired to have it in its full context, which is only in the world to come. So it comes out interesting. The neshama is the essence of the person. To be able to experience and sense spirituality in the spiritual world, that's the nefesh. And the quality in the nefesh is determined. These are the crowns it says we wear on our heads. It's coming upon certain truths, which is based upon our choices which we made in life, to what degree we merit a share in the world to come. Just stop for a moment. Wait. There's no concept of a eulogy at a funeral. When you eulogize the person who dies, and people hear that person was special, and they're touched by that. When they're touched, they want to emulate that person's life to a degree. To whatever degree they're touched, and therefore they emulate and do positive things, those positive results accrue to the person who died. So when you say eulogy, although you're sharing with people that person and its values and levels of accomplishment, and you're getting through to the people, you've done the deceased the greatest service. Because now, although the person can't make choices any longer, but bringing out certain values or levels of representation of that person's life, now you've impacted others, and when those other people do, the deceased becomes the beneficiary of all the do that the living does, although that person can't do any longer for himself. "36 hidden tzaddikim, which only God knows who they are. They themselves may not even know who they are. Of course, they themselves are so humble, they don't sufficiently value what their levels of accomplishment are. So it comes out these people are not going to be role models. They're not role models. Nobody even knows who they are. So factually, they're missing out. But the answer is no. Just as it says regarding Reb Chanina ben Dosa, due to his level of what he was deprived to the nth degree, he lived below the poverty level. But it says the whole world are beneficiaries of his actions. The whole world is sustained in his merit. That means any charity that people do, or people being beneficiaries of God's chesed, are due to Reb Chanina ben Dosa. Even though you don't know he's the cause of it, but he's the benefactor. If the world stands on the backs of 36 hidden tzaddikim, whether you know or not, you don't have to be a role model, but factually, your function and your level ability to accomplish is due to them. Automatically, although they're concealed, they become beneficiaries of whatever happens. Same idea.